All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm trying out yet again some more tech, some new setup here. As you can see, I know I look super yellow in this bottom camera. Sorry about that. I tried to correct the color, but obviously that didn't quite work. This is a whole different setup than what I usually use. This one looks a lot better. Definitely a little more accurate to the actual color inside of this room right now. But it is what it is. I will definitely be messing with it. Wanted to pick your guys' brain today because obviously we are obviously hashing a lot or talking a lot about AI, but we don't want to beat a dead horse, so to speak. So today I just kind of want to talk more about some original creative stuff I've been working on, some new music, and really pick your guys' brains. I'm curious if you guys could think of a particular artist, band, somebody that you feel would maybe want to use this song. I've been in this kind of interesting songwriting kick for the last 3 or 4 months, something like that. Had a big wave of it where I was just constantly turning out tracks. Had a crash. Felt like that whole feeling in the flow moment was just over, and then I was really not wanting to do anything again. And now I'm kind of climbing and clawing my way back into just being more productive and just getting stuff done, even if it's at a snail's pace, just getting things done. So what I want to play for you guys today is just the complete song. So I've been kind of playing a couple of just snippets of this track here and there on various live streams, but I want to play this entire track start to finish, so you guys can get an idea for what I've been up to, what I've been interested in, what my sort of style is kind of sounding like. You need to know that these are not my vocals. I would be in a completely different place on earth right now if I had vocals like this. This is from a guy named Jack Taylor. I hired him to sing this song, even though I did write the lyrics and the melody and the music. He is the vocalist, and I've actually linked him below, his YouTube channel here on YouTube. If you want to go hire the guy, super professional. He records himself, very reasonable rates, and I was basically just hiring him to get some demos done. Like that's kind of what this is essentially kind of a demo to potentially pitch to an artist that's established to say, do you need some music that you want to release and you're looking for some high quality stuff? This might be something that you can use. But what he delivered is, I think you guys hopefully will agree in just a second, I think is like polished, finished music. I don't feel that this is even demo anymore. This is definitely teetered more on, this could be a track that we just release ourselves. So I'm still trying to figure out when I'm ready to release music, how I'm going to release it, if it'll just be a YouTube channel, if I'll literally try to go through something like Spotify or anything like that. But right now, I'm not trying to, I don't think, become an artist myself or to get a fan base or to play that whole, that whole game with social media and stuff. I think I would much rather just write music. It's kind of like the same thing I've been doing with Sync for all these years, is like I didn't necessarily want any of the fanfare or the front facing energy or attention. I just wanted to work. I just wanted to get in love with the craft and really dive into the thing that I've been doing in this industry for so many years. So I kind of want to do the same thing with this. This is not for Sync, at least it's not intended for Sync. You never know where the future will bring us, but I think it would be really interesting to just become a sort of songwriter, producer, songwriter, that other artists could potentially hire or, essentially license, pay, or have a full-on transfer of my track over to them if they wanted to use it. So that's where I'm going for it. Some tracks I complete I feel are a lot more stronger than others, but I'm regardless just going to keep getting them done and keep hitting bounce because I want to set a sort of good habit for myself of when I start a track, I finish it, even if it isn't one of my favorites. Right now, I'm really digging this one. It's certainly up there as one of my favorites, but you know how it is. Like the last thing that you finish is always your favorite one. So that's kind of what this is about. So I'm going to stop blabbering now. I'm going to just click play from the start all the way to the finish, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and notes on who you think maybe would be a good fit for this, because that's the kind of next phase of all this as I'm completing these songs, is thinking about shopping them, marketing them, pitching them for particular artists to see if they'd be interested in it. So this one's called, I know the title or the session is called Ghost, but I think I'm going to call this one Haunted. Okay, so here's Haunted. Here we go.
This house is so empty, the floor's so cold. How could you have left me with no one to hold? I swear that I hear things when I'm alone. The sound of you whispering that you're coming home. Maybe I'm just going crazy from losing sleep. If you hear me, I want you in the mirror. Even though you're gone, you're still right here. I'm just too scared to move on, to be honest. Maybe I could let you go if I wanted, but given the choice, I'd rather be haunted. This can't be the ending, you can't be gone. What I wouldn't give to hear your voice on the phone, and the pain that you left for me is all I know. But I'd rather feel something than nothing at all. Maybe I'm just going crazy from losing sleep. If you hear me, I want you to know I still see your ghost in the mirror. Even though you're gone, you're still right here. I'm just too scared to move on, to be honest. Maybe I could let you go if I wanted, but given the choice, I'd rather be haunted. And I'm not afraid of the dark, 'cause I know that you're close, even by myself. I'm not alone. I still see your ghost in the mirror. Even though you're gone, you're still right here. And I'm just too scared to move on, to be honest. Maybe I could let you go if I wanted, but given the choice, I still see your ghost in the mirror. Even though you're gone, you're still right here. I'm just too scared to move on, to be honest. Maybe I could let you go if I wanted, but given the choice, I'd rather be haunted. I'd rather be haunted. I'd rather be haunted.
All right, there we go. Sorry, guys. I muted myself and then dropped the mic, so you probably weren't hearing any of that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your feedback. That is now the official world premiere of Haunted. I've just been playing snippets up until now. So, yeah, I saw that one of you guys had a suggestion for Adele. I could certainly see her doing that. Thank you, These Static Lights. Releasing it myself, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not necessarily looking for credit. I don't think that's really what I want. I don't think I want the like the sort of becoming an artist, right? I don't want to have the sort of fanfare of the artist thing. I really want to focus on just the craft. Like that's actually more interesting to me. I don't want to worry about, music videos and lyric videos and all those kind of things that you have to do as an artist. I don't got the time for any of that. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in like just creating a sort of consistent, I would love that. It's like, it was kind of like my dream job many, many, many years ago before I got into sync, was just having my own home studio and writing amazing music and songs, like actual songs with vocals and melodies, collaborating with other songwriters, and then pitching those songs to established artists, essentially. So becoming sort of a powerhouse of creativity to then enable, I do feel that like we all have we have niche things that we're really great at, right? So I think I got a talent for writing, for sure. But I don't have a talent for singing, as why I've hired this vocalist, by the way. Jack Taylor, his link is in the description box. Go hire him. You can hear And this is just one sample of what he can do. He can literally throw his voice into like almost anything you want him to do. And he's from the UK. You would not guess that listening to his voice. He can hide his accent. He can do some amazing things with his voice. Extremely amazing vocalist. And I really, I don't know. I have some thoughts about partnering with him in terms of creating some original music between us, but I don't want to get sidetracked. I really do want to focus on just writing and working with high quality people. But anyways, I've always wanted to just sort of maybe focus more on the writing aspect of this. I love the process of creating melodies, lyrics, of course. It's just a big jigsaw puzzle for me that I'm trying to figure out how do I make it all work together. And when it comes together, like a track like this, which was not something that just the idea came quickly, but then all of the fine tuning of putting together the demo and rewriting things and cutting a lot of the fat. I mean, this track was maybe about 30 seconds longer up until I trimmed out a few parts. And even though I had an original version that was longer, I was like, we got to get right to it. We got to move things along. I love that entire process. It's just like, it's like clay. It's unmolded clay in front of you, and you're just kind of chiseling away at it till it's like this thing that just sort of works. So I'm really excited about it. Would you mind if I ask what it sounds like at 120 BPM? Yeah, I can't do much with the vocals are set as they are. I mean, almost everything else is MIDI. So that one, I could definitely crank it up, but the vocals bumping up. This could definitely be a song that somebody could remix and make it a little bit faster if they wanted to. This is actually faster than what I originally wrote it at. I wrote it at a much slower tempo ballad. And then as I was playing it back, I'm like, I'm kind of getting bored with it. I got to bump it up. So this is actually a bump up from what it originally was. But yeah, I could see this maybe going a little bit higher. It could. No volume, but you can hear my voice now, right? Yeah, I think that was before when you couldn't hear me. So, awesome. Thank you, Source 4. Appreciate it, man. But I have to say though, like of all of this, uncertainty that we get with AI, this is kind of what's coming out of it for me is more creativity, more original creativity, and also, one thing that I did do is after completing this song, I did go to Udio. I'm going to say it right. I'll give him some respect, okay? Went to Udio and prompted it to try to have it create what it would do if I prompted it trying to get it to make a song like this. So I used the tags like slow emotional ballad, cinematic, heartfelt, sad, blah 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 blah. Some strings, all that kind of stuff, and then I actually fed it my lyrics to see what it would do. And I generated 4 different tracks, and 3 of the 4, I think my track stands to be much stronger. The 4th one, though, to be honest, had a much more interesting lyrical phrasing. And I thought, that's cool, actually. If somebody had written this song using that lyrical phrasing and the piano melody, and it did, I think it's actually stronger. So one way that I can see us using these tools as a sort of quality control, where we basically do our best, we actually prompt what we've done against an AI model to see, are we standing up for at least the quality of what an AI generative model can do? And if ours doesn't sound as interesting as what it can do, then maybe that's an indication, not necessarily like toss out your track. Of course, I would want to release this one, but it's definitely it already pushed me to be like, hey, go a little deeper next time, or get a little more inventive with your, mostly the rhythmic phrasing of your lyrics. Don't go for the sort of what you typically tend to do, but get a little more creative with how you put your phrasing and your rhythmic of your lyrics and your melodies together. So that's kind of a cool way to sort of push ourselves, almost like how the chess players and the chess community is using computers and AI to get themselves better at chess, so that then when they start playing with each other, they're stronger. Maybe we could use these generative tools in the same way, where we kind of go, all right, well, this is the best that my human brain can do. What's the best that this robot can do? And see, if we're actually generating something that's more compelling, more interesting. It's so hard to obviously get out of your own way with that, though, because of course this is my baby right now. I just completed it. It's the best thing I've ever done. We all have that sort of recency bias, and of course our own creative bias. So it's hard to be 100% objective about it, but it could be something that could certainly help us to challenge ourselves, to definitely make sure that we are being more creative and more inventive and just more interesting across the board than a generative AI model, right? Yele saying, after listening to Hans Zimmer and Sia, is it Sia or Sia? I don't know if I ever know how to spell her or pronounce her name right. I also try to get more singer-songwriter meets epic orchestral. I've been seeing that a lot more, Yele, with a lot of our library recommendations in SyncEdge. I'm seeing a lot more albums that are cinematic, massive, like, this has got like, if I muted the vocals on here, I guess I don't need to mute those, but muting the vocals, just this chorus, definitely a cinematic, I wouldn't call it a trailer track, but orchestral cinematic, right? So it's just missing the big, drums basically in the background. But, it's got a kind of a big cinematic, larger than life feel. And then you've got this just vocal, song on top of it. I'm seeing a lot more of that in a lot of production libraries. I do think, especially as we're going to want more human elements and human touch to a lot of our production music. I've been thinking this for the last couple months, that this might be a direction that a lot of you guys want to start going into, even in sync, not just with, your own artist music or putting it out into the world, but trying to stand out a little bit more and creating something that's, you got a foot in the cinematic, TV film world, but you got a foot in this sort of artist originality. And a lot, especially sync agents, are certainly looking for this kind of thing. Supervisors would be looking for this kind of thing for sure. So I think there's something there. So you might be onto something, Yeli, for sure. And you've got the chops. I don't know, Yeli, if you got vocal chops, if you can sing, but if you can't, finding a vocalist that you can partner with would be, I think, a very smart move. M82 with drums, could put that at the end of the movie. Sure, I could see that too. Yeah, I don't know what chiptune is, Swoosh. What is chiptune? I've heard that twice now, but I'm not familiar with what it is. You were messing around because you're building a new game and need music for it? Okay. Yelly saying, I tried to let Udio and Suno spit out Japanese horror. It did not go well, and now I know I have an interesting concept for an album. Hey, there you go. You're using it for your own advantage there. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure. Chiptune. Maybe I'll look it up real quick. Let's see. Chiptune. What is chiptune? Style of electronic music made using the programmable sound generator sound chips. Okay, so video game music or whatever? No. So, no, not really my thing. I don't think that'd be something that I would probably mess around with. But, oh, M83, yeah, the artist, the band, right? Yeah. And, yesterday went through, I'm actually going to go back to a different setting here. We don't necessarily need to see my session anymore. I'll make this one a little bit bigger, right? Why not? Keep this one in there. I don't know. I don't know what the format will look like exactly for sync up, but I'm thinking something like this. This is actually going to be more of our front-facing camera for myself and our guest speakers. And then this one is going to be for the audience. So when the people come up to, ask their questions and talk to the CEOs and all that kind of stuff, that's how we're going to probably align this for most of it. When I have presentations, which I do, I'm going to kind of kick off our... I got a lower bit rate than recommended. What's going on here? You guys have seen something that's bad? Oh boy, it does look bad. Huh. I wonder what happened there. Do I look glitchy, guys? Is this glitching? It does look like it's glitching, man. Wonder what's causing that. Because hotspot is on. Very bad. Very strange. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'll have to end this one today because it's really annoying to have a glitchy stream. I don't know what I changed. I didn't change anything. I mean, I'm using a new monitor, but that shouldn't mess with the Wi-Fi, I don't think, right? Gilly saying, I took my laptop and interface with a mic and a guitar to the middle of nowhere by a river to get a natural vibe and reverb. I wrote 3 songs while there. Awesome. Inspiration was nice. Very cool. Maybe I got to do that too. Bring an acoustic guitar out somewhere. So may have just been a hiccup. Yeah, but it's still giving me this warning like it's glitching. You guys aren't seeing that, huh? Yeah, Gilly's saying AI made you get back to thinking natural, real, and better. For sure. Absolutely. And I'm even thinking now, like, the track that I just played was probably too produced. Like, I almost think that I want to get back to, like, just a piano. Like, just writing literally especially if it's for shopping and demoing purposes, not necessarily for a finished song. I'm probably working way too hard on these tracks. I probably need to get back to just either acoustic guitar in the vocals or piano in the vocals, and that's it. I can have some dynamics and some performances and all that kind of stuff, but I'm probably spending way too much time. It's sort of my, my strength and my weakness, because I'm like, well, I've got the skills and the chops to really amp up this song and make it big. So I spent a lot of time doing it, and then I realized, man, I should probably just focus more on writing new stuff, because the more that I write, the better at that I'm going to get. The production chops is something I've been working on for 16 years or something. Writing original songs, I had a lot of experience back in the day, and then I really didn't do that at all while I was working on Sync all these years. So now I'm kind of having to dust off those skill sets and keep doing it. And it is one of those things where it's like, you just got to keep doing it. I'm actively trying to not look at tutorials. I'm trying not to follow anybody online about how to write songs. I'm really just trying to listen to music that I like, that I'm motivated by, that I'm interested in, and then just write and write. And I'm trying to really make sure that I just do the work and I don't fall into the education paralysis that we can all get caught in, where it's like, well, if I watch one more tutorial from my favorite songwriter, then I'd learn something, right? I think when we're in writer's block, sometimes that can help. I was really hitting a low, it was like 2 months ago, after this high of like all this creativity hit me. And then I remember going like, damn, like I don't want to, not only was I not liking my music, I was not liking anybody's music. I was going online and looking at new music and new artists, and even the music that I usually get inspired by, and I was like, I hate it all. So obviously my brain chemistry was a little bit messed up. I had to kind of reset and just chill out for a little bit. But there was one video I did watch from Ryan Tedder of One Republic, and he had this kind of really amazing full, like 40-minute, like having no, I think he had like music, but he didn't have any vocals or lyrics or melodies written, and he just kind of showed how he writes. And it was just like, nonsense melodies with nonsense lyrics, and then little things would come out, and he would talk about his writing process for how he's crafting everything. And I realized after watching his tutorial, I was like, wow, like his process is very similar to mine. He's got gold and platinum records, of course, but it was really actually just validating and encouraging to go like, wow, okay, so our minds are kind of thinking the same way for how we craft these things, and how it needs to make logical sense, and how the language needs to be very simple and accessible. And so everybody's got different styles, of course, and his, I'm not going to do everything, obviously, how he does things, but it was very like reassuring and definitely motivating to go like, wow, this massively accomplished songwriter and artist is saying things that sound like what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm not at his level, but maybe that's an indication that I'm on the right path here. That's a kind of a cool thing. So that actually, I will say that one video did get me off the couch, metaphorically, and got me back into making music. And I almost wonder, this might have been the song that I first came up with after watching that video, because I had an idea, but I was like, I don't know. When you get into those modes of self-doubt where you think everything you do sucks, I was just in that, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And then this one kind of sort of kept on going. So anyways, so once in a while those things can actually help, but I think we can get too lost in watching and getting too educated, which is just a way of procrastination for myself, for sure. Yeah, AI won't take away from just being creative. It will disrupt commercial markets, though, for sure. For sure, Swoosh, you're absolutely right about that. And that's why, got to talk about it, right? We are a commercial channel here. We are Sync My Music, right? This is Sync Up happening. Where is it? Right up there. It's hard to coordinate that. But Sync Up, right? This isn't just a hangout where we're just talking about being creative. We're not just talking about what chord progressions we want to use or whatever. We're trying to make sure that we are channeling our creative efforts towards a commercial, endeavor here to monetize our music, to create active income, passive income, hopefully a source of both. So yeah, we are ripe for, disruption, and we got to make sure that we are being honest and real about the fact that TV and film clients might not care that much about the fact that I have creative outlets, right? Or that you make music and that you've got a lot of passion and energy for it, if they've got a cheaper, faster, easier option, right? Within their grasp within the next, year or two. So obviously, yeah, but I think broadly, creativity is going to, for those people that choose to use this as a sort of motivating factor, and it really is a choice. And the more that I'm thinking about it now, I was definitely much more in a sort of down or depressed state of mind over this, about a month or two ago. Since I used that reframe, you guys probably know it. Why is this happening to me? Swapping that out, and now why is it happening for me? And I feel way more excited, interested, creative, motivated. I just feel like a flower blossoming, so to speak. It just feels like I am much more interested in a lot of creative pursuits. And even though this AI stuff can be really anxiety inducing and depressing at times, and all the uncertainty around it, I'm just generally so interested in it all. I'm very tickled by it all. It's scratching all of my itches. It's got music, it's got technology, it's got legal implications, it's got artists getting involved with it, it's in the news, it's all over the place. So I'm just like super interested in it one way or another. Even if I wasn't in sync and doing this, I know this would be just a topic I'd be all over. But yeah, we're not going to obviously harp on it forever. There's just like a time in a season. We did this kind of the same thing about the same time last year. It was like April to May, and even maybe a little into June. Yeah, my channel became the AI channel, and I told you guys that. I said, hey, this channel is going to change its focus. We're going to talk about AI for a while. And to the displeasure of many, but not to all, we did have to focus on it for a while. And then it got out of the news, and it wasn't something that was so relevant. So we kind of went back to our usual whatever topics that we were going to talk about. But the Suno and the UDO pops up, and so we've got to kind of talk about it again. And I know within the next year there'll be another model, whether it's that 11 Labs model, you guys have been seeing that one. Or something else that is something that's kind of disruptive. We got to be, I think, keeping our eyes and our ears on it, for the better or for the worse. But I do agree with the sentiment that like this can be great for our creativity. It can push us. It's definitely pushing me. It's challenging, but that means that I'm going to be growing, because I accept the challenge. So hopefully you guys can find a way to accept it too. Gilly saying it has become man versus machine. I'm totally thinking what I can do a computer can't, and focusing on that. Yeah, I would push back on that framing though. I don't think it's ever been man versus machine. I think it's been man with machine. Machine is just a tool. Like, are we saying that it's man versus cars? Because cars are probably the number one source of death, car accidents, I'm imagining, right? Isn't that the number one source of death? So should we be thinking of cars as our enemy? We all can kind of see that that's not probably the right framing for cars. Cars are a tool, right? Cars can be used for great things. They can help us be more productive, help us travel and meet family members, do some cool stuff in our lives. They can also kill us, right? Cars can be used to kill people intentionally, right? So I don't like the sort of us versus machines. I just don't buy into that one. I think it's a tool, just like fire. Fire is a tool. Is it us versus fire? Well, fire can kill people. It can burn people's houses down. It can be used for some really horrible stuff. But it can keep us warm. It can cook our food. So is it our friend? Is it our foe? It's just a tool. It's just something that we can basically use for our benefit or for our harm or for others as well. So I would push back on that. I don't think it's sort of back and forth. But yes, as time goes on, we are seeing more and more things that computers are doing that we used to say computers will never be able to do that. And I know that that's glitching out right now. Sorry, guys. But I remember when I made those videos just a year ago saying, guys, Music LM is out. Doesn't look that good. It's pretty ridiculously stupid, the music. It doesn't sound very impressive. Nobody's threatened by it right now. This is going to be happening very quickly. I anticipated, right? I remember one particular email I got from somebody that said, Jesse, I understand you're concerned, but I've got a friend. He's a data scientist. He works on AI models. He works on large language models. He says this isn't going to have music that's at human level for at least 10 years. So don't worry about it. It's not happening that quickly. Music is so complex. It's so intricate. It's such an advanced art form that computers are going to have a really hard time putting it together. Well, here we are 1 year later. I don't think it looks like 10 years anymore. Do you guys? I don't think so. So I'm glad that I took it seriously early on. We'll see what limitations are in the future, right? But we've seen what it's done in 1 year. Chances are things are going to keep going in that direction fairly quickly. So I don't know why I got onto that, but let me get into more of your guys' comments. So, yeah, Swoosh is saying that even though AI can be the best chess player, people still play chess with each other. Competition still exists. There will always be an inherent value to human creation. Absolutely, like that's one I can predict with a lot of certainty as well, because of the chess community. You would imagine, and that's what people said. Like, well, the minute that you have a computer beating a chess player, why would anybody play chess anymore? What's the fun anymore? No matter how good you get, computer's always going to beat you. Well, go look at the chess community right now. It's actually more popular than it ever has been. There are like popular social media people that are professional chess players competing, playing online, monetizing their career as chess players. And there's like competitions and sponsorships and crazy, stuff that's going on. So even though a computer can beat any human chess player easily, and it can be trained from nothing to beat a human chess player easily, it did not stop our need to want to play that game with each other. And in fact, we're using that tool now to become more, become smarter. I would imagine you would see, if I don't know the stats on this, but I can almost tell you for sure that whatever the best chess player was in the 90s, we've far surpassed that today because of AI. So human beings, I can guarantee this without even looking at the data. Human beings now, whatever they score you at, I know they have like a score as a chess player, those scores definitely have gone up since the 90s, guaranteed, because of AI, right? So we usually can get smarter, and I think same thing could be applied for us, for human creators, is that we use technology, we use AI to make ourselves better creatively. So whatever our measurement is now at our creative endeavor, like what you heard today on the stream, hopefully in 5 or 10 years, I am 1,000 times more creative and more interesting in my approach to music, more compelling, better, more descriptive lyrics, or poetic lyrics, or whatever it is, right? That's my goal, is I want to just get better and better and better, and hopefully we can all figure out a way to improve ourselves with this. But I think also, it's a good point, because like, so what I've been trying to kind of circle around this really much bigger topic with all this is that this is going to be creating some existential crisis for us in terms of our identity. Because up until some of these tools, we assumed that we were the special ones. Like we always, human beings have our bias of like, well, we're at the top of the food chain, we're the smartest, we're the best, we're the most creative, we're the most this, most that, and only we can do these amazing things. Making music up until literally, the last couple of years seemed like it was something that was purely a human identity thing, right? It was the only it was one of the few things that we could do: art, music, right, creativity. And so, one of the things that I definitely got challenged with, seeing a computer do my job instantly, granted, maybe not on par yet, but on the way, is this kind of like, okay, so wait, what makes me special now, right? I thought this was the thing that kind of separated me a little bit. Like my ego liked to be stroked a little bit, to be honest with you guys, that I could be somebody that could make great sounding music. And most people on planet Earth cannot do that. So we have been, as music creators, carving out a little bit of our egos and a niche for ourselves from our skills as songwriters, producers, composers, all that kind of stuff. And now you got a website that's for free that anybody can prompt in anything and make music. And so it's kind of like making us wonder, what's my function then? It's almost like a robot that might have feel like it's lost its function a little bit, right? And I still absolutely feel that it is going to either strengthen your resolve to become creative, or it will wash you out. That's definitely going to happen for everybody. Even if you're not replaced or disrupted by this technology, psychologically, this is going to mess with a lot of us in terms of, maybe I don't want to make music anymore. I've already heard that from quite a few of you guys, emails, comments on my channel. It's already out there. That's definitely it's a thing out there now that people are basically just throwing in the towel because they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just too depressing. I don't feel like I have a space here anymore. I'm done. And while you want to say like, oh, okay, well, I guess you couldn't hang then, so get out of the way. I don't want to have that point of view for people that are feeling that way, because they might not be out of the game forever. It might be a temporary thing, right? Maybe they just need to take a break, walk away for a couple of months, maybe a year or 2 years, and then realize what life feels like without their creativity, without their music. I've been there. And go, damn, I need it. It's like a shark that, in order to breathe, it has to keep swimming. And if you stop swimming for a month or a year, you'll start to choke. You'll start to feel like, man, life is not as fun, not as enjoyable without that fun music stuff that I used to do. And maybe that's a part of your journey. You just got to take a little break and realize, okay, who cares? So what? AI is doing what it's doing. I'm going to do me. At least that's kind of like my point of view on it right now. It's like, great, AI is going to get better and better, but so am I. And I'm going to challenge myself to get better and better regardless of what AI is doing. But I had to get to that place on my own terms, on my own timeline, in my own way, right? I had to have my own kind of exercise mentally, psychologically, emotionally to get here. So some of you guys will get there faster than others, and that's okay. There is no rush. You don't have to rush to do anything. You can just take your time with this stuff. If you're feeling burned out and depressed, feel burned out and depressed for as long as you want to, and share it with us. Like, I wanted to make sure that this channel and Sync Academy, and obviously Sync Up there, for our event and stuff, this is going to be a place where you can just be honest about how you're feeling. And there's no judgment. It's like, it's cool to feel however you're feeling. This is a challenging time. It's a big moment. It's a big potential disruptor for us. And so, yeah, just don't feel like you got to feel one way or another or be rushed into, okay, I got to adapt this technology or else I'm going to get run over. I mean, that's nothing that just kind of just annoys me to no end, of like, people are like, you better use this technology or you're going to die. Okay, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. It's very, very helpful. At this moment when people are really struggling with it, obviously sarcasm there. It's not helpful. We don't need to be told that. Everybody with a 10x hustle mentality is just pitching that crap all over the place. Even if I could use an AI app to have made this song 100 times faster, but it took away the process that I had to go through, I'll be honest, I don't think I want that 10x productivity or 100x productivity, whatever it is. I want to suffer with this. I want to go through this process. I want to discover where this track is going to go. I think there's something about sometimes music creation that helps you uncover, like something that I shared, I won't share with you guys, but I shared this song with my brother. And even though this is a song, isn't something about necessarily I've gone through recently, losing somebody either to death or to just loss of relationship, it just came out of me, and whatever comes out of me, I just kind of go with that direction. But there's little lines in this that my brother's like, sounds like your subconscious is coming out in this in a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I didn't even notice it, because subconscious was telling me things and the lyrics were coming out that were definitely personal, but I couldn't see it or hear it as I was going through that. So if I had used the ChatGPT or a text to music generator and I said, write me a song about losing somebody, and it's about me seeing their ghost in the mirror, they're still with me even though they're gone, all that kind of stuff, my subconscious probably wouldn't have come out of it, right? It would have been this, AI algorithm rehashing and remaking and all that kind of stuff. So it would be a lot less me, a lot less this cool, mysterious part of my subconscious potentially leaking out into the music. And I think that's something to hold on to for me. I think that's something really interesting, something very human about that. And maybe your subconscious tapped into that as well. You didn't even consciously. There's a lot about music we don't really consciously tap into. It's a subconscious kind of unknown thing that we are sort of connecting with. So, we call that probably the soul, right? The soul of the music. So I'm not interested in 10xing my productivity and replacing the soul of it. Not interested in that. I'd rather go on my pace, go on my speed, and create something that I feel is really just coming as much from me as I possibly can. Adrian, you want to protest against Udio and Suno? Use them and make songs with lyrics that admit they're unethical, person, less malignancy, that these songs will preach the message using their platforms. Check their terms of service. I don't know if they allow you to do that, but there's an idea there. There is certainly an idea there. Some of the funny ones. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Carlos, I'm going to see you in just a week, man. Really good to connect with you again. It'll be really fun, man. Carlos is coming to Sync Up. He came there last year, and he shared some really great stuff that he's been doing to keep himself in a really positive mental state. So we'll definitely check in with Carlos and see how he's doing with all of his endeavors in sync. But yeah, I've heard definitely some people have posted songs about AI taking over all of the music and taking over the world and stuff like that. So it's kind of scary, but it's kind of crazy. And then one of you guys, Swoosh, was it you? Somebody sent me yesterday a music or using Udio. You can actually prompt it to create like stand-up comedy, and it was a pretty funny, not like the funniest thing I've ever heard, but it was AI generated. It was a fake voice, and then there was actually literally like a crowd, a laugh track behind it. And I'll say, like, the jokes weren't the funniest thing. they were like, I'd give them like a C minus. They were like, kind of a little chuckle or whatever. But when you hear humans laughing at it, it actually tricks you. It makes you think that the joke was funnier than it was. You think like, this is actually a really funny stand-up comedian. But I guarantee you, if you took out those laugh tracks, it wouldn't necessarily be as funny. And that's why obviously a lot of sitcoms have a laugh track behind it, to kind of keep you tricked into thinking that you're actually watching something funnier than it was. It was Yu Suishigol, yeah. So yeah, really, really impressive. I didn't, you were wondering if it was some comedian. I couldn't place the comedian. It wasn't a well-known comedian. If it was somebody that I would have known. Not that I follow comedy extremely closely, but yeah, I didn't know that they could do that. I didn't know that stand-up comedy was something that that model could do as well. So also makes you wonder which which comedians potentially did they train off of. I don't know. No idea if they did. So yeah, Gilly, it's interesting. God gave man a soul. Man can't give a computer a soul. You are special, and so are the rest of us. The spirit is real. Human-made music will never die. Yeah, it's. I'm trying to ride both sides of that. Like, definitely, we all want to feel that we are special and we have something unique to offer the world. But at the same time, there's a part of freedom that comes with realizing that you're not that special. And we won't get into that right now. we won't go into those deeper waters. That's a much more philosophical, maybe more Eastern philosophy, Buddhist philosophy of kind of letting go of feeling that you need to have something special or unique to offer. We won't go into those waters, but I'll just say that I try to create that yin and yang within myself of like, there's a part of me that wants to hold on to that uniqueness, the ego, of course, that I have something unique and special to offer the world. And at the same time, I'm nothing special or unique at all. And I'm just basically one tiny little part of this continuous source of energy that is called existence. But it's too early in the morning to get into that in depth. But I actually kind of find that there's value on both sides of that for myself. Yeah, and there's a part of that too, Swoosh, about like, even if an AI model could create something sonically extremely impressive, like instantly. And I know that there's going to be models, you guys will be seeing this probably within the year. Like right now, you have to prompt Suno or Udio, and you have to wait, a minute or two before it gives you like the 30-second thing. Pretty soon, I know there's companies already working on this. As you are prompting, it's generating. So you'll say sad. It'll already start putting together some ideas for what sad could potentially do. Sad, romantic piano, already working on that. With female vocals, working on that. So as you're typing it, it's in real time generating your song. So that timeline, waiting for a minute or two, will seem like ancient history pretty quickly, where you literally it'll probably be as fast as ChatGPT right now. If you've used that recently, you just type in something and literally it's just like literally less than a second, you got an answer, or at least it starts to generate your response like instantaneously. I can imagine we're gonna have something like that as well, where you'll just be prompting, and the minute you hit return, like this, is this the song you want? That quickly. So that's coming. A year, 2 years, I don't know, something like that. But there's definitely, I know that there are models that are in the works right now that's gonna spit that out that quickly. However, definitely very, very impressive to hear a model do that, but not as necessarily as interesting to me as one of my favorite artists, maybe doing like a track breakdown. I didn't do a track breakdown today, but if I had one of my favorite artists open up their session and showed how they made a song that they made, that's infinitely, for me, more interesting, because I'm like, I want to learn from you. How did you do that? What is your approach to this? And even if they could get into the psychology of like, yeah, I was working on this track, and at this point, I was kind of giving up on it, and then this tiny little thing I created helped me unlock it and go to that next level. Those are the kind of things that I'm obviously interested as a creator, as a producer, you guys as well. Not everybody in the public are going to have that kind of interest in it. Some obviously will. But I think, yeah, just hearing how human beings and seeing what their process is, their creative process, is certainly more impressive for me, certainly more interesting. Sometimes maybe not impressive, but very interesting, absolutely. So, hey, what's up, Goat? Bitwig is actually a DAW to test. I fell in love with it. You can do anything, no crashes. Bitwig. Let's see what that looks like. There's a lot of those, and I'm getting a lot of people emailing me now, messaging me with AI, either sampling products or DAWs, and they want me to recommend them to you guys. And frankly, it's a little overwhelming. I might need to hire somebody to become my like tester to go try out, because I just don't have time. There's so many of these new companies and things popping up. I'm interested in them, but you know, some guy was emailing me or messaging me saying like, man, I've got this amazing stem separator technology. It's way better than whatever the other one was, Moasis, the one that is kind of taking over right now. I said, okay, can you just, show me its quality? Because Moasis is pretty good, but the only limitation is that it can only do vocals, maybe like piano, bass, and drums. It's only four or five, I think, stems. I don't think it can give you like kick, snare, hi-hats, tom. That's much more useful for us, right? And the guy's response was, well, here's our website. Go check it out. Go try it for yourself. I'm like, just show me. Like, just sell me, right? You got my attention. Sell me on it. Send me. And he sent me something. And I'm like, that doesn't sound, because you're saying it sounds like 100 times better than Moasis. And I heard it, and I'm like, I still hear artifacts. I still hear that it was stripped out. It doesn't feel like a clean, extremely clean thing. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not being sold on 100x better. And then he's like, oh, you got to go try it out. Like, you go here, I'll give you free access. I'm like, I'm not sold on your demo, so why would I go try out your thing? So I'm getting a little overwhelmed with it. I'm excited. I'm honored that people are feeling that I could be somebody that can help them, recommend great new tools for you guys. But it's so many right now. There's so many companies that are popping up all over the place. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, if they don't sell me within like 30 seconds, I'm sorry. I got other things I got to be focusing on. I don't know. I can't spend that much time on these kind of new products and services. So we'll see. It's basically Ableton, but way better, intuitive. Okay, you can merge MIDI wave on the same track. Deactivate tracks instead of freezing it. Okay, so we've got some cool new features. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now, if one of you guys starts using something and you're like, dude, this is actually the thing that's really going to make a huge difference for my productivity, you've actually used it, hit me up. Like, I'm all game to check it out. Like, I'm looking at this thing, and yeah, it looks like most DAWs, but that, maybe that MIDI and audio, interlay capability puts it on another level. That'd be kind of cool. But I haven't even updated my Logic, so I trying out a whole bunch of new software is not always the thing that I do so readily. So. All right, how long have we been going today? Again, just doing this to help me warm up my voice again. Appreciate you guys hanging with me a little bit, but no, definitely not off topic. Yeah, new DAWs, new software, new things are definitely something we should be checking out. So I think it's a really good idea. For those of you guys that will be potentially joining us for Sync Up, let me see if I can do this real quick. I think it's going to be too complicated. I was going to mess with something, but I don't feel like doing it. So I'll definitely be coming back next week, Monday through Friday. Probably doing live streams every morning, warming up my voice, getting myself ready for all this kind of stuff. I'll definitely be pitching Sync Up next week. We still have in-person tickets available. Obviously, you can still get a streaming ticket if you want to. This is going to be, I think, one of the big, aside for you guys obviously, for those of you that are showing up, of course, you're going to want to do some networking with each other. And of course, the library CEOs that are going to be there, we'll have 7 of them, and pitching your music to libraries, that's definitely a part of it. But I'm also really curious, and I think you guys will benefit as a result, to use this weekend as a raising the awareness of generative AI and data scraping and training off of catalogs. I've had some pretty big production music libraries reach out to me as a result of my UDO video, and getting more interested in this topic. And obviously I'm curious to find out where they are. Are they thinking about this in the same way I am? Are they trying to harness this technology in any way? There's been some rumors or circulations that some of the bigger production music library catalogs have maybe been training their own AI models with their own content to create some value for their TV clients and not wait for somebody else to disrupt them. If that's happening, I'm really curious about that. How is that being rolled out? Are you going to be asking for consent from the publishers, composers that have music in your catalogs? How is that model going to be rolled out to your clients? If the AI model does generate something that gets a placement, who gets the credit? Are you splitting that up? Are you going to be just crediting individual composers, all that kind of stuff? So I think this is going to be a way for us to take control of the conversations ourselves, really have a sort of powwow in this room. If you guys are going to be streaming it virtually, you can listen in on this conversation for these 2 days. But those of you that are going to be in the room, we're going to be really at the sort of foreground, or the vanguard, the very peak of this conversation in terms of having actual publishers, libraries, and composers in the room talking about these very important points of view. Hopefully, all of us getting a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser on this subject, and sharing ideas and sharing strategies and sharing thoughts about where we want to go with all this kind of stuff. This is really how the future gets made, is human beings get into these conversations, into these rooms together, and try to figure out how to essentially create our future and what kind of future we really want to, the best of our ability, if we can steer it in a particular direction. So that's what it's going to be. And also, you guys shouldn't have heard any reverb this time. Was my audio clear? Yesterday I had a little tiny reverb effect on my PA system. So you guys were probably hearing like I was in this big room or something like that, but that was just the reverb effect. So hopefully I fixed that. You shouldn't be hearing that, especially when we do our sync up event. So that should be all fixed up. So again, if you guys want to join us, you can grab an in-person ticket. It'll be at a Los Angeles hotel, very close to the LAX airport, or you can stream the entire event from your home if you'd like to. And both give you an option to pitch your music to any of the CEOs that are there. Link in the description box with a guarantee that they will certainly listen to your music. And if they like it, you get to have a direct access to them. You can absolutely connect with them and be off and running. We've had many members last year that were a part of Sync Up that are now working with some of those library CEOs, some of the very ones that are going to be there this year. So it's going to be a great time. I'm excited to meet many of you guys. And if not, at least see you there, hopefully on the live stream. It's going to be a really good time. So have a great weekend. If I don't see you over the weekend, if I don't stream or put out anything, we'll definitely catch you right back here Monday morning, fairly bright and early.